number of people from that area as well in our group. Are you on our WhatsApp? Okay, okay, good, good, good. So I'm trying to set up here also on the live stream. Okay, so if you can share your LinkedIn URL as well, it will help you and hopefully help those guys who are just joining Canada newly because we want them to be able to expand their network as well. So kindly share your LinkedIn URL. What I normally do is I will leave this session on for some time, even after the session has finished, so that they can have the opportunity to go back and look at your LinkedIn and then request to connect with you. Apparently, if you see people connecting with you today, it's probably from this session. So I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction. Okay, I think Adiela is here. My co-host is here. He always helps with the co-hosting thing. Like it's really difficult sometimes for me to be able to keep up with people that are streaming in. And Adiela, how are you doing today? So Adiela is also from BC. Have you met Adiela Martins? Oh, really? Wonderful. There are quite a number of people in our group that are from BC. Um, so, and this is also the reason why it's important to actually let us know where you are based, because then that will help to really bring you closer to the guys that are there, and who knows what opportunities they might have access to, and will be able to share those with you as well. So this is the whole point of networking, right? So, yeah, Adela, I'm going to give you the co-host as usual. Just making fun of you that you are my my regular co-host here. So let me check the LinkedIn how it's going today because it's always kind of troublesome for us. I'm gonna check it out to see if it's cooperating today. Azina, you are on LinkedIn. Can you confirm if you can hear us? Hmm, just give me a second here. Adela, I didn't hear from you. Oh, okay, good, good, good. Yeah, so I think there's audio on LinkedIn today, but we still have to deal with the issue of showing everything on the screen because without that we won't be able to people won't be able to hear us. Okay, all right. So you will be able to see guys that are coming in Adiela while I start. So if you can help with that, that would be great. Okay. My name is Abiodun Oke once again. I've actually done a little bit of introduction of myself in the comment section. I did that just so people could see like a format, for a brief introduction on the comment section. It's the opportunity we have here goes beyond just presentation. It's also an opportunity for us to connect with one another, to learn, about our journey so far, and then to see if there are opportunities to, build relationship, especially with those guys who are within your locality there. Uh, the network where you are on is called the Supply Chain Industry Network. So my name is Abiodun Oke, and I'm a professional with about 20 years experience so far. 15 years of that has been in the industry, both private and public sector, as a procurement professional. I worked in the oil and gas back home in Nigeria, and here I worked predominantly in the public sector. How interesting that switch was, but it was fun until I realized that I'm not quite in the place really where I want to be in terms of my professional development. I felt like I'm strongly leaning towards helping others to grow in their professional career, and so I switched to coaching, mentoring, and consulting. So this is what led my path towards the creation of serial project services and the supply chain industry network, which honestly, when it comes to the supply chain industry network, has been a community effort with a lot of guys whom we started together actually as a WhatsApp group, and we've been able to build this platform to this point through our resources, both in time and money and everything in between. We've never been sponsored at any point in time on the supply chain industry network activities. But we're looking forward to that because we know we can impact more professionals, more immigrants, especially in the supply chain operations and project management careers, maybe through funding. So we've been able to successfully, uh, uh, you know, register as a non-profit starting this year. So it's still kind of a gradual process. We are still working on forming a board of advisory, so that we could get some directions, and also most importantly to see how we can um, connect with stakeholders within the industry, because that's really been one of the major issues we have. We've been doing everything on our own, but it's time for us to actually reach out to the industry to see where stakeholders in the industry and the government can help with what we do. So we started the supply chain, the Industry Connect conference, which started, I think we started 2022, I would say. That's when we actually started off. We visited some cities, did networking events there, and last year we decided to actually do just in Winnipeg, because this is our base, and we wanted to leverage that first to see how we can use that opportunity to expand to other cities through um, focus effort first in Winnipeg. So this is brief introduction of the supply chain industry network. We do several things beyond just these sessions we hold online. We support with job search. We have a platform called the supplyjobs.ca, and I dropped a link there in the comment section, so you can click on that link so that you can be able to join that platform. You will find guys within your groups, within your local area there, be it Calgary, be it New Brunswick, St. John, wherever. You would see people in all those places. We have over 1,000 professionals across Canada, and we would like to expand beyond that. We want to increase that number. Even though we are a set of narrow function, within the supply chain, we still want to bring in um, professionals from other functions like HR, business analysis, accounting, um, project management. So there are guys in these groups, in this group that are in those functions, but we need to expand beyond just those few people, and really, because we see supply chain as the industry, and when we talk about the industry, it goes beyond just operations management. So enough said. We meet every Saturday. The first Saturday, it's where we connect with newcomers. So we call that the um, newcomer welcome session. We will talk about the challenges that they probably would encounter, which a lot of us have gone through those challenges as well. The second week is where we actually do a deep dive into the job search situation in Canada. We talk about a roadmap where we provide specific insights and directions on how newcomers can navigate successfully to their desired profession here in Canada. And then third week, we have mock interview. So we're gonna have a mock interview for procurement professionals this third week of this month. I believe that's August. I mean next month. Sorry, my bad. That will be August 17 or 20. I can't remember. And then the last week and the last Saturday of the month, we will usually do something like this. Either we have a guest who will discuss a topic, or we talk about certifications or any other trends, the of trend industry trends basically. So that's supply chain industry network for you. Again, supplyjobs.ca, that's how to join, and we can bring you into the WhatsApp from that. That's a condition for bringing people into the WhatsApp group. In case you're wondering why you're not still there in our WhatsApp group, you have to join the supplyjobs.ca first, because that gives us opportunity to know more about you before we bring you into our network. And today we're talking about the ASCM certifications, the supply chain certifications. So the supply chain certifications and the certificates actually. So we are having some study groups that are scheduled for the fall, and we thought it would be a good opportunity to speak about these particular um, sessions or the certification, so that if it's something that you think will work for you, we believe strongly that this is the best way to actually um, become certified, but we will talk more about why we think so in a few. But before that, Sarah Projects is a training and consulting service. And yeah, we've been making some progress since the past 2 years. We've been reaching out to training platforms and getting these partnerships that will help us to further empower our members. This is the goal, right? So, but Serial Project is that channel, the for-profit channel through which we will provide all of this. We work with Odoo. Odoo is a software for small businesses. And basically, any business process in a small business, medium-sized business, Odoo can handle it. Sometimes people will think Odoo is just one of those softwares out there, but when I start talking about Odoo, people would like, oh, I didn't know that Odoo could do all of these things. Any business process whatsoever, Odoo can do it. And one of the value proposition of Odoo, why I keyed into partnership with them specifically, is because it is open source, meaning that there is a huge army of software developers that actually are building customized solutions based on Odoo, because they have access to the code, and all they just have to do is, they can build integrations, they can build any type of tool that supports what your business process is trying to implement in any type of function, HR, logistics, just mention it, anything whatsoever. Odoo is able to handle it. And we also partner with Clearly Speaking. This focuses on communication. We believe that even though there are issues about discrimination, we don't want to totally just say, oh, it's all about discrimination. We want to see how we can also improve when it comes to effective communication, and also adapting to the culture here in Canada. So, Clearly Speaking, we've been working with Gloria of Clearly Speaking for about 5 years now, and she's been very, very graceful, helping to provide these resources at newcomer friendly fees. Okay. And when you go check our profile, you know what I'm talking about. So you certify is also another platform we work with. So you certify helps us with all type of resources that relates to IT certification, project management certification, business analysis certification. So we have access to all of these resources through you certify. So whatever type of professional development you are thinking about, be it analytics, project management, cybersecurity, we're able to offer all of this. So because we don't talk about every time doesn't mean that we don't have these resources. We just provide them on demand basis. If there is need for them, then we provide them. The one we're talking about today is ASCM. Okay, so we are an authorized APIX training partner, and we started our partnership with them last year. And the reason here being, we realized that there's a huge barrier when it comes to certification in Canada. And the funny thing about these barriers that I'm talking about is Uh, it's on different fronts. There's the issue of Canadian work experience. We all experience that. But then there is also Canadian qualification barriers, where this is like the expectation of the industry that you have a specific industry certification, no matter what you study, no matter what degree, masters, PhDs you have, they still have this expectation that you need to prove that you are capable, you have the competence through this industry certification. So if you have gone to colleges, you've gone to universities and all that, yeah, great. You have academic qualifications, but you have industry certifications. So we realize that there are also financial barriers, okay, that immigrants deal with in Canada because these certifications, the de facto one, which is SCMP, we realize that it's a huge money. Besides that, even before you get qualified to enroll in this program, is another story entirely. So we figured out that ASCM offers a more flexible roadmap, is what I would call it. So that's why we approached them last year. We approach with what we think will be practical in terms of certifications for our colleagues here to have that social proof, to obtain that social proof. Because what we found out is that if you have certification of any type that is not global or that is not North American, it's as good as you don't have anything, right? That is the reality of immigrants here in Canada. So this is the reason why we approach ASCM, and it's a global organization. If you know APIX, APIX is ASCM. They rebranded recently as ASCM. So if this APIX was founded in 1957, you see it's about 60 years old as an organization. So they are very, very solid in terms of the brand. And this is the brand we're working with when it comes to certification for our colleagues here in Canada. So yes, this is what we're going to look at: ASM at a glance, benefits of being a member, and we'll look at the different certification programs. We'll look at an overview of the programs. Perhaps we would go into the platform, the LMS, Learning Management System, for I think for two of them because that's what we have access to right now. That would be the CPIM, the CLTD, which is happening in August. CSCP is happening in September. CTSC is to be announced. We don't have any schedule for that yet. So these are the things that we're going to talk about today, and we'll entertain questions. And later we will look at the procurement certificate, which the study group is ongoing at this point. And Adela will help us with his experience in the procurement certificate we just completed. So ASCM is built on APIC certification, training services that span over 60 years. And ASCM is, like I mentioned, is a very strong brand. They're driving innovation in the industry with new products and services, and some of them they are very exciting because these are some of the things that I've yearned for. In terms of where I want the supply chain industry to go to when it comes to professional development. I see ASCM tackling these heads on. And this is the reason why I am just totally sold out to the direction that they are following when it comes to innovation, technology, supply chain resilience. ASM is just killing it in all these areas, and that's why we're working with them. So here are some benefits for those who haven't been members yet. So you'll be able to save on courses, certification exam as a member. As a partner, we're able to pass on those savings directly. Once you enroll with us, free access to ASM dictionary. So there's actually a dictionary of supply chain through ASM. These are free resources you get access to as a member. Also you get access to events, publications and different type of researches to keep you up to date on the industry trends. You also have access to frameworks, supply chain frameworks in different areas, be it in the area of resilience, in the area of digital transformation. So ASCM have all these benchmarking tools, even for auditing, which we call this core SEOR, supply chain operational reference model. And recently, this also has been become a reference model for digital transformation. It has been upgraded to be able to handle digital transformation auditing as well. So there are also local association that you could participate in, and on their platform there is the Supply Chain Knowledge Center where you'll be able to have access to a lot of information from different members within that platform as well. And there are also career resources and job boards just like every other platform. So these are the different certifications and credentials. Now, our focus today is strictly on ASCM, right? But we've had other sessions where we actually provided a roadmap for somebody who would like to pursue career or transitions to career in supply chain and operations management. And the reason why I'm saying this is I'm not going to, do this as a kind of a roadmap. I'm just focusing on the certifications, the ASCM certifications. And these are the different offerings. In fact, I was mentioning earlier about supply chain, ASCM being very um, active in developing resources for professional development. You would imagine that even this particular slide you have here is not even up to date because there is another certificate that has been released, which is in the procurement spectrum. So this is the the supplier relationship management certificate. So instead of having five, we now have six. So you can see all the certificates here is supply chain technology. If that is something that you would like to specialize in technology, this might be one certificate you take on to expose you to all the different tools in terms of technology and supply chain enablement, those tools that are available that you can then build on that. So that's more or less like this is an entry level into supply chain IT. So if this is something that you're aspiring to do, then that will be for you. The supply chain warehouse certificate, yeah, so we know this is basically distribution and fulfillment. So you can see on this map here on the right hand side, you will see that it's relating to fulfill and the return processes in our supply chain. That's where the supply chain warehouse certificate comes in. Supply chain procurement certificate, the one that we would really zoom in on. We have a procurement certificate study group ongoing. We have it every Sunday. So we have it going currently, and we have about 8 people enrolled in this particular study group. The previous group we have 5. Who knows what we're going to have in the next one starting in September. So we have another study group starting in September. So this is the only certificate that has been scheduled so far. Um, Again, these other ones that you see here, we schedule them based on demand. If we see demand for them, we will schedule them. We have the resources, right? All the colleagues who are the senior colleagues, the very experienced colleagues in our group, they are able to take on any of this based on their experiences. So the resources are there. They are only waiting for you to, indicate your interest, and we will schedule it. And these are resources who are our colleagues who will be able to take it on. The supply chain planning certificate. Planning certificate you will see is focused on the planning processes in our supply chain, and resilience is focused on the orchestrate area of our supply chain. Um, yeah, so these are the different ones. The supply chain, the supplier relationship management one, of course, focus on the sourcing aspects of our supply chain, and this is dealing with managing supplier. So, having said the ones related to the certificates, let's look at the certification. So you might wonder, okay, what is the difference between certificate and certifications? Okay, so certifications are industry standard, right? So you would even notice that in the way you prepare for a certificate is different from the way you prepare for an industry certification like the CSCP, CTSC, CPIM, and CLTD, right? So these the first two you see there, they will touch on every other process within our supply value chain. So the orchestrate, plan, source, transform, order, fulfill, return. So this I recommend to those who are into supply chain analysis or business analysis. The CTSC are for supply chain project managers, for supply chain consultants. Okay, that will be the CTSC because this is basically certified in transformation for supply chain. So someone like me, this is the certification. I obtained the certification last year when it initially came out. I was excited when it actually came out because this is what I've been looking for. I'm done and tired with all these traditional certificates that doesn't, integrate technology and these other emerging, uh, you know, uh, challenges that we're encountering in our supply chain and businesses towards, um, transforming our supply chain to respond to the needs of today. That is what CTSC is about. And when I took it, I realized that it had the components of project management, it had the components of strategy, it had the components of supply chain operation itself. And, like it's a mix of all these different, competencies, combined into what we call the CTSC. And of course, technology is a huge part of what you also will be looking at in basically the implementation of the technology. Let me put it that way. So the other two is CPIM. CPIM is, you will see its scope is plan, source, and transform. So basically, this is focusing on planning for cost efficient and effective operations, especially as it relates to inventory management. Then CLTD focuses on logistics, transportation, and distribution. So this relates to the ordering, the fulfilling, and the return aspects of our supply value chain. So this is the scope, except for the supplier relationship management that is not here. So everything that APIX ASCM offers is this. Okay, so let's move on. Now let's zoom in on the different areas that will be covered in each of the certification. So for the CPIM, Certified in Planning and Inventory Management, this basically is for guys who are focused on planning and inventory management. And you will see that a lot of the guys who will take this particular one will be in production planning, demand planning, and this other type of, uh, you know, functions. So you can see product forecasting, master scheduling, MRP, scheduling operations, cycle counting, inventory movement, receiving, and capacity planning. So those guys who are into planning will be the one that actually take this kind of certification. And CSCP is the one that I said pretty much cover every process within a supply value chain. So supply chain design, supplier management, 3PL, 4PL, transportation, custom distribution channel, and customer management. So this particular certification also, I would say it's the de facto for ASCM. So this is the most popular because it covers every other function within our supply value chain. Um, from logistics to transportation to distribution to procurement. It covers everything. So this will be the one that I will see as an alternative to the ones that are common here in Canada, like the SCMP or the new one that emerged with the amalgamation of the British Columbia and the Ontario group. So this CSCP will be that um, industry certification that will serve as an alternative to that. CLTD is focused on logistics and transportation. So you will see this is logistics management, 3PL, transportation, importer, exporter, distribution channels, and also global logistics will be one of the focus areas. Now, the CTSC that I mentioned earlier, as you would see, is talking about the successful transformation of our supply chains, and this is big. This is very relevant to the challenges we experience today in supply chain. And this particular certification is to empower our colleagues, especially those of you who are experienced. Honestly, I feel this is the time for you to evolve into a more strategic role in our supply chain. We know for a long time, supply chain has been regarded as this back end activity. However, we're the one that run the industry. So for us to actually claim what is ours, I believe that every supply chain professional who is experienced enough to work on strategic initiative needs this certification, because this is what this certification is all about. It's about how you apply all the things you have learned, the experience you gained in technology, in project management, strategic initiative. Everything comes together in this particular certification. So, supply chain strategy, operating model, supply chain technology, digital capabilities, transformation programs, process design, business intelligence, advanced analytics. So you can see it packs a whole lot of stuff. Especially for those who are exploring career in supply chain, IT, supply chain technology, supply chain business analysis. This is the certification. Okay, so enough said about that. Let me see. I think I skipped. Okay, so why are ASM certification critical to supply chain? So the supply chain is all about cooperation and collaboration. Supply chain management professional need to understand these interdependencies. When we talk about extended supply chain, there are a whole lot of moving parts, and it was only in COVID that people who are not in the supply chain realized that. And we were hearing supply chain all over the place. However, we that work in supply chain realize um, this is what we are dealing with daily. That there are a whole lot of different things that are basically conflicting, um, basically competing for resources, um, in order for our supply chain to run smoothly. And I think before COVID, all the supply chain and the industry, let me say just industry, took this for granted. What we do on a daily basis to keep the industry moving. So everything was ground to a halt during COVID, and it was a time that everybody woke up to realize that, well, supply chain is actually the industry itself. So its ASCM certification provide tools to help you as an organization to improve operations, increase customer satisfaction, and of course, company profit. The certification also provide insights into how the various moving parts of supply chain work together, and the tools, the approaches, technologies, and every other thing in between to ensure that the company is able to meet their strategic objective. The designation also demonstrate that you have a strong knowledge of supply chain, and that you also have the competency to work in those roles that you're applying to. So, if you ever wondered why we in Serial Projects Supply Chain Industry Network actually recommend ASCM, I started earlier by saying that we realize that we have several barriers in uh, in Canada when it comes to the recognition of our experience and the recognition of our qualifications. And on top of that, we also have industry certification barriers, as if the Canadian work experience and qualifications barriers are not enough, right? So, and when it comes to this type of barrier, we're talking about even to be able to afford to get certified. It's another issue entirely. The number of years it takes you to get certified. I've seen people who start these programs and they are almost getting to the end of a program to get the certification, and they are told that they don't have experience. Are you kidding me? So all of the money I've been spending all this time, you didn't realize that I didn't have the experience, only for me to now finish off. That's when you're asking me about Canadian work experience. No way. So these things are, they are not working for us. And this is the reason why we decided we'd rather go with a platform that is open-minded, a platform that really accepts our credentials from where we're coming from, a platform that understands that our experiences matter. So this is why we are all about ASCM designation. If things changes in Canada, fine, great. But as of this time, we find the ASCM designations to be the most practical for us as immigrant professionals in Canada. So these programs provide candidates with the tools they need to effectively evaluate and manage supply chain activities. It also increases your recognition when you approach employers. They see you have this, so it's sort of a social proof. It helps with your marketability. So when you talk about your resume is not being seen and things like that, sometimes it's because some of these certifications they're asking for, which are equivalent to the de facto ones, they are mandatory requirements. Okay, so they are clearly stated in their must-haves. Okay, sometimes they put it in a nice to have, but usually when it comes to industrial certification, it's usually in the must have, especially if you are approaching a mid level or a senior role, you better have industry certification. So, for these reasons, this would make sense to have, regardless of the level where you are. I think the ASCM platform certifications provide an entry level for any level of experience. If you're working in other professions, maybe um, let's say banking, or you worked in pharmacy, or you worked in sales and marketing, the ASCM platform provides that entry level for you, from that level where you are to then progress as to help you gain that recognition that you can put on your resume to have opportunities to interview, and also to basically convert the interviews also to a job offer, because you'll be able to speak more clearly about what this role entails. It's not something you just slap some skills and experience from some other resume and just slap it on your resume, hoping that that will help you get a job. No, you have to do beyond that. You have to put the work in, and we have this platform here that already provides that framework for us to gain those type of knowledge. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put on my fan here. It's a little bit hot here, and it really disturbs my speech. Let's see if I can reduce it. Okay, so let's look at each of these certifications. I think I have about 20 minutes more here. So CPIM, we already talked about the CPIM, certified in planning and inventory management. Usually this will be the guys in production. This will be the guys who are demand planners, supply planners, master schedulers, and all that. So what does the exam look like? The benefits here is to increase your functional knowledge of production and inventory management, and also the tools that you need to improve internal operation as far as production and inventory management is concerned. Uh, then also you will be able to understand the best practices, the terminologies. A lot of the times when you go to these interviews, you don't speak like you understand the terminologies. This gets in the way of building that intellectual rapport, with the employers or the hiring managers, right? Like you can't come in and all they have to then they now have to be struggling with teaching you what terminologies they use, right? If you have this, they already know you have those underlying knowledge, understanding. Exam is just one exam, and this is a great thing I'm talking about. I mean, the regular certifications in here in Canada, the hoops you have to go through to to get these certifications. You have to take like 15 exams or whatever. Maybe you have some prior certification somewhere. I mean, maybe you still have to do maybe five or something like that. You still have to do workshops on top of that. I mean, those are really ridiculous, honestly. For somebody who have 10 years, 15 years experience, I don't know why you would make yourself go through all those type of stress, just because you want recognition. Get this one time exam and you're done, and you have your industry recognition. No eligibility. That's also another great stuff here. You don't have to go and be asking me for my transcript from my university, all those silly stuff, asking me for transcript from some other, organization where asking me for my English, blah, 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 as a second language evidence. All of that crap is not necessary. As long as you have what it takes to be able to read and write these exams, and then you have a 5 year certification maintenance period here, meaning you'll just have to do some professional development to keep it. So the modules contain supply chains and strategy. I will look at the the system later, just kind of show, but this is what you will see there. You will see the supply chain strategy, sales and operations planning (SOP), demand, supply, detailed schedules, inventory, distribution, quality technology, and continuous improvement. So the detailed content of each of these modules I will show you when I look at the system, the LMS, learning management systems. So the benefits to the organization, yeah, we know bottom line here is return on investment for the company on their systems and technologies. Also, there is a common vocabulary that you now tap into, that you're able to use that same vocabulary to communicate with your colleagues and the industry as a whole. It also helps organization to boost their productivity. So here is the one that we scheduled, which is a study group. So that's what we scheduled so far. So this is the schedule here. August 17th is when this study group starts. So why study group? So study group is just to provide a structure and also to help you to have that motivation through a group of colleagues who are also embarking on the same journey with you. It goes a long way. I've seen people who want to do self-study. Self-study is, oh, we're open to self-study. If you want to self-study on your own, great. Just it's optional. Just purchase just the course fee alone, which is bundled. And the bundle, what I mean by bundle is that it has the exam, it has the LMS, it also has additional exam. Just in case you fail the first one, you will take it a second time without paying any additional fee. Okay, so that is why it is bundled. So you can see the fee there. If you want to enroll for this, it's on supplychainschool.ca. You will see more details there. So preparing for the exam, to earn the CPI, you must pass one exam. Okay, create a study plan and stick to it. Choose from self-study, instructor-led, instructor support, or a combination. So what we have offered here is the study group, which basically it's going to be facilitated by one of our colleagues who is an experienced professional. His area of specialization is in planning and inventory management. So when it comes to study group, is more or less just the way it's intended is for we are working together towards the same goal. So we will have a structure of study plan that we would follow as a group, and then when we come together on the scheduled dates where we have our synchronous sessions, we will work more on the questions that you are going to be seeing, case studies, and things like that. But when it comes to the studying itself, we will have a study plan that we need to follow individually, but then we come together on the weekends to actually do case studies, do mock exams, mock quizzes, and all of that to help further um, support our study and our progress in obtaining these certifications. So this is the kind of what we provide at this point in time, and it's because we're taking this for the first time. And if you're there, you want to do your CPIM, I think you've chosen self-study, maybe you've even purchased the LMS, fine. You all you just have to do enroll for is a study group, so it's optional. If you purchase the LMS on your own, great. um all you just need to do is purchase the study group. So CPIM holder. So these are the guys that are basically going to need CPIM. So buyer planner, product planner, material manager, supply planner, manager, consultant, supply chain analyst, inventory analyst, demand analyst, and supply chain manager. So yeah, there's a kind of overlap, when it comes to those guys who are actually enrolling in CPIM. We're going to look at the other certifications, and you would see where those overlaps are. CPI exam, like I mentioned earlier, is one exam. You can take it online, or you can go through Pearson View. So this is the computer-based testing agency, or do we say facility, that you can use to do it in person, but it's also available online. I did my CTSC. Uh, I did it in person, interestingly, but initially I scheduled it as an online exam, but the online thing didn't work out. It was just not working, so I had to cancel and reschedule for in person. So if depending on what works for you, honestly, I think I'll choose the in person, because it really was frustrating, the online thing for me. So I just chose the in person this time around. It's offered on demand, so basically, when you're ready to take it, go take it. But what we normally advise is that you schedule your exam already when you are preparing, when you are studying, because again, life happens. If you do not schedule your exam with the hope that, oh, I'll just study first and then I'll do the exam, I'll schedule the exam when I'm ready, it's never going to happen. That's just what I've seen a lot. Even with folks who have gone through our programs, I've realized that they they will keep postponing, they will keep pushing it forward because life happens, right? I'm not judging them. Life happens, but if you have scheduled it already, when you are preparing, you have that exam coming up, and you will do everything, prioritize your time as much as you can, your resources, to make sure that you write it successfully. So that's the magic, or let's say the trick. You need to schedule it already. It's 150 multiple choice questions, and there are some pre-test questions. These are usually not graded. Candidates have 3.5 hours to complete the exam. Um, the minimum passing score is 300. So out of the 350 score that you will get, or 350 points, you are actually expected to score 300. So that's CPIM for you. Let's go to CSCP. CSCP is also one exam, and I mentioned earlier that CSCP covers the whole range of the processing and supply value chain. The same thing, 5 year certification maintenance. Um, I'll skip this. We already looked at this for the previous one. So these are the different roles that people who obtain CSCP are involved in: strategy, supply chain technology selection, setup, maintenance, or use, demand planning and management, customer relationship management, supplier relationship, supply chain inventory management, managing reverse logistics, still logistics, right? Risk, managing risk, measuring supply chains and their metrics. This would be analysis. Supply chain change management, supply chain improvement and best practice, supply chain financial management. So the CSCP, what I find interesting about CSCP is, if you are trying to do a deep dive into supply chain, and you have a role that interacts with pretty much every aspect of the supply value chain, then CSCP will be that. So sometimes it's not necessarily for, say, somebody in supply chain. It could be for a business analyst, because a business analyst will touch on pretty much everything here, right? So if you are already into business analysis, or you done training in business analysis, I would say this is another stack to put on that, so that you can gain access to opportunities in supply chain. Okay, so just like the other one, the CPIM, exactly the same thing here. 150 multiple choice, 3.5 hours. Isn't it great? It's just one exam, and then once you pass it, you're done. It's also 300 to pass. So for this one, you could see this is an instructor-led training. Okay, so I'm going to explain it a little bit because I said earlier that if you do study group, there's actually one of our colleagues who will facilitate it. So our colleague that facilitate the study group, they are not certified, right? So but for us to be able to have an instructor-led training, we need to have a certified instructor, certified by ASCM. So for CSCP, we actually have an ASCM certified instructor, and he's one of us very senior colleague in our network. And so he's going to be the one taking this. It's scheduled for September, ends December 20. So Saturdays and Sundays. I believe actually this only takes place on Saturdays, my bad. So that should only be Saturday, not Saturday and Sunday. Um, First thing in the morning on Saturday. But if you need more information, just go to supplychainschool.ca, you will see it there. So instructor-led training 2000 CSCP package itself is a bundled package, as I explained earlier. It contains everything, including the exam and an additional exam, okay, such that if this didn't work the first time, you can go over it again, see where you had weaknesses, and then now finally go and take it a second time, which hopefully you would pass it this time because you've gone over what you had missed in the first instance. So CLTD, we mentioned earlier, this is for logistics, transportation, and distribution, right? So basically, this is for knowledge in logistics, transportation, and distribution. It helps to expand your outlook on logistics. Logistics is a huge part of what we do in supply chain, uh, from inbound to outbound logistics to inventory management to distribution, which is fulfillment. And then talking about global logistics, all this freight forwarding, all this shipping, transportation, all of this pretty much. And it's no surprise that the largest cost of supply chain is actually in this area of logistics, transportation, and distribution. So it's a very important aspect of our supply chain as well. Again, one exam, okay, one exam, okay. I think this is one of the major value proposition, and there is also no eligibility requirement. So all those stress they are giving you to go and take this transcript here, transcript there, write 5 exams, and all of those things are not here. If you're certain that this is something you would like to pursue, just sign up and or go through the studies, a study group or instructor-led ones, and go write your exam. That's the way it works here. And once you're done, you're done. I'm gonna skip these ones as well. We know this basically touches on every aspects of logistics and distribution. So you can see the guys that need this, guys who are in logistics network design, planning and execution of forward and reverse logistics. If what you do entails all of this, or even some, let's say 5 of this, then probably you'll be taking CLTD. So carrier selections and negotiation, transportation mode analysis, global logistics, logistics and transportation risk. Okay, so again, 150 multiple choice questions. Your minimum passing score is also 300, 3.5 hours. You take it in person or you take it online. So this is also a study group, and I explained the reason why these are study groups. This is a study group because we don't have a certified instructor, ASCM certified instructor. So and the thing here is that if this is something that you have on your plan, I would say get it done already, because if we actually have an ASCM certified instructor, yeah, you bet this will be more expensive. Okay, so take advantage of the study group. It provides you with the structure, the motivation, the fact that you have other guys along with you on the journey. It really motivates you. So CTSC is the last one. This is the one that I took. So I'm a certified in transformation in supply chain management. So again, no eligibility requirement. Okay, 5-year certification maintenance, one exam, and learning system as usual. And Yeah, so this basically is for people who manage and align processes. That's what I do. I do consulting. So this is natural for me, and I was excited when this came out because I knew this is the thing that I've been waiting to do, and I got it last year. Supporting or executing a supply chain transformation. So that's consulting for you. Developing a supply chain strategy, creating business requirements documents. So people who are in business analysis or project management, specifically in supply chain, might also fit into this. Developing and managing performance control towers, business intelligence, and so all of these new tools that we have in supply chain network redesign, also defining digital capabilities in supply chain. So I'm gonna skip this one just because of time. Key topics. So these are the key topics: transformation overview, supply chain transformation, preparing, executing, and review of supply chain transformation. Exactly the same format. 150 questions, 3.5 hours, 300 is it passing grade. Okay. So this particular one is also a study group. We haven't announced this because it's pretty new. Okay, so I am actually one of the first to obtain this certification. So I am working towards actually becoming an ASCM instructor for this one. But while we are doing that, we are going to run a study group if we have interest, especially for those of you who are experienced and you're looking to transition into supply chain transformation, technology deployment, continuous improvement in supply chain, and all these other things, strategy um, development or strategy implementation. So these are all under CTSC, and the package fee is a little bit lower than the other ones. I see this going up when the demand ramps up. I believe this fee is just an introductory fee from ASCM. This will be something that will be in higher going forward. So these are the different learning options for you. You can do self-study, but we all know the challenges with self-study, right? I mentioned it earlier. You keep pushing and pushing and pushing forward because you're not really highly motivated, and life happens. People tend to procrastinate with self-study, and God forbid that you procrastinate until the 1 year. So I didn't mention that you have access to that learning management system for 1 year only. So if you procrastinate until the time that you no longer have access, that means you have to pay over again to gain access to the system. So instructor led is the one I talked about. So these are ASM recognized instructor that we will be facilitating this type of sessions. So study group is the one that Serial Project is offering for the most part this time, except for the CSCP. So we're offering the study group for CPIM, CLTD, CTSC. The CPIM and CLTD has been scheduled in August. CLTD starts first week of August, and then the procurement certificate, which is concurrent. So meaning we start procurement certificate on a monthly basis. So the next procurement certificate is September 1st. Because we see demand here, there are a lot of people who are looking to transition to procurement, especially those who are in other uh, and I say now allied functions. So I'm talking about sales, marketing, pharmaceuticals, engineering, um, what else? Business analysis. So those guys who are looking to transition into supply chain from those functions, banking, normally they will take this procurement certificate because it's the one that is most is usually the most relevant to the experiences they had in these other industries. So corporate is also possible through serial projects. Corporate is something we offer on the serial projects platform, not on the supply chain school platform. So here are some of the benefits you learn from instructors who provide expertise, insights, and also they provide their guidance. Through this, we also have guys share their own experience. So you're learning from other colleagues' experiences as we, you know, work together during those synchronous sessions on the weekends. You're also able to stay on track with that structure that we provide. So there's a weekly messaging that goes out letting you know what you need to plan for during the next 1 week, how you need to study, like what is the expectation. So when you have this type of, guidance, monitoring, you keep to the plan, right? Unlike if you're just on your own, you're left to your own shenanigans, right? So take advantage of funding also. We have funding. If you want funding, we have it. And then also we're able to track your progress, because this way we're able to let you know, okay, this is the expectation we have of you. And it looks like maybe you need to, ramp up to keep up with the expectation. So we provide this type of motivational support, during the study groups. So I'm going to leave the rest so that we can have questions. If you want to go on and on, maybe from the questions we can also look at other things that I haven't considered so far. So, Adela, do we have any questions there? No questions. Yeah. Okay. So, um, I think what we will do now is let's look at the procurement certificate and other. Yeah, I mentioned quite a number of certificates. We have six on the platform right now, on the ASCM platform, but the one that we're working on right now is the procurement certificate, the one that is scheduled. So, Adela, if you can share with us. So, Adela is one of the professionals that work with us in the last cohort of the procurement certificate. So I want him to, based on what he had learned, and this is what I always say about our group, that we are a for us by us group. If you work with us, it's not just all about the certification or the end of professional development or getting a job. You also become part of us, part of our resources, whereby we could also engage you in our sessions where you get paid for the sessions that you facilitate. So, which to me, this is the reason why we exist, as an alternative to all the other, professional groups you have out there. This is a for us by us, making sure that we are taking care of our own, and we are developing ourselves in that manner. We're developing building our community as well. So, over to you, Adela. We would like to hear from you. If you can tell us about the procurement certificate, break it down for those who probably will be interested, and then also share your own experience in the story groups and maybe the outcome. So, over to you, Adela. Yep, yep, yep.
Recording in progress.
Sorry. Go ahead. Okay. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to hear from your own experience, which kind of gives people better perspective than if I'm just talking about it theoretical. I'm still having issues here with my, I don't know. Give me a second. Let me fix that. Sorry. Go ahead. Uh, okay, is it better now? You can hear me now, right? Okay. Yeah. So, what I would like to do actually is to, I'm not sure if we have questions there. Do we have questions there? Any questions? Oh, okay. So, what are those questions? Can you help me out? The questions? Merging? Who is merge? I don't know. No. Yeah. 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 I don't think there's anything like that. Maybe the one he's referring to is MCIPS working with the new group, National Supply Chain Leaders or something like that. Right. So yeah, that's the one I know about, but we don't even know the details of that as well. But yeah, that's another topic entirely. The topic here is the ASCM platform. So yeah, I hope that answered the questions. Anyways, is there any other one there? I think I saw one about recording before we went on the break. Yeah, yeah. So here's the thing. Definitely people want to know which one is the best, but if we say which one is the best, are we talking about the ASCM platform, right? Or are we talking about industry certification generally? So, oh, okay. So when we're talking about the ASCM platform, I would say, sorry to disappoint, I would say it depends, right? Because it's your experience, your career objectives, um, and probably your prior qualifications that will actually determine which one is best. So this is the reason why I actually put my link there, that you can actually schedule a 15 minutes chat with me and we can go over your journey so far, uh, as regards maybe even integration in Canada or even certification, whatever. And then we can figure out which one might be the best to recommend in terms of the time, the resources, and also maybe in terms of the fee, to be able to enroll, because sometimes all these are limited resources, And the question of the best will sometimes be subject to the resources that you have available to yourself. But the thing that I would also like to emphasize is if you do have a PR, we are able to provide support in funding through one of our partners that uh, basically have a program that is sponsored by the federal government to support newcomers in Canada. It's a type of funding that you have to pay back, but they are very flexible in terms of the payment because they specifically designed it for newcomers in Canada. So that could be a way for you to go. We have a lot of people who have enrolled into our programs and they got funding through this particular group. So on our own side, we could also provide a flexible payment plan, meaning it's something that we can maybe split or anything of that nature, to help to ease your payment. So that's one thing I would say in regards to that. I think there was a other question about procurement certificate. I think I heard that one. The procurement certificate. So procurement certificate are two costs in break. You can break the cost into two categories. There is the LMS that you will need gain access to. You know, you need to gain access to the individual LMS itself, because this is how you will get your certificate. Because you will need to answer questions and all of that, you know, the tests and everything in between. So that is, I believe that is $950 Canadian dollars. And then there is the study group. Okay, so the study group itself is just $100. Okay, so just $100. So for those of you, if you happen to have purchased it directly from ASCM, even though that's not what we encourage, okay, we rather that you purchase the LMS through us, you can still enroll for the study group. So it means that you just have to pay the $100 and then you'll be in the study group. So that is how that one works. So, but if you are still about, oh, which one do I really pursue, and you need more information regarding these certifications, yeah, I put my link there. You can just schedule a session because the ones that we have coming up pretty soon is the CLTD, starting the first week of August, and followed by the CPIM. I think CPIM is in the third week or second week, I think. The CTSC has not been announced yet. We're still kind of gauging the interest. We're gauging the interest if really there's an interest, but it doesn't mean you cannot do self study at this point in time. If you think you cannot wait for us to schedule or to announce the CTSC certification. So that's and then the procurement certificate starts 1st of September. Just to make sure I clarify on that one too. So I wanted to show the platform so that you can have a look at some of the resources that are made available there. There are no more questions, I believe, right? So these are the ones that we have studied at this point. I mean, scheduled at this point in time, the CPIM and the CLTD. So I'm going to look at the CPIM first. So on the CPIM side, this is my own dashboard for student enrollment as an instructor. So what I want to show you is actually the product itself. So I'll click on this to go to the product. So this is what you will see at your end when you enroll to the LMS system. I'm not sure because I think we're still seeing you on. Okay, maybe that has changed anyways. Okay, so this is the CPIM LMS. So you can actually take a pretest. So this pretest is to gauge your knowledge, and then from there you can actually maybe, for starters, know some areas of weakness that you might want to zoom in on when you are doing your study. So this is your study, the actual study here. You can see the different topics. This is supply chain strategy. This is SOP, demand, supply, detailed schedules, inventory, distribution, quality technology, and continuous improvement. So we had a list, a slide that had all those items as list. So you can see there are quizzes here, flashcards, and then also case study, which helps to further support your understanding. And we have this for each of the subtopic. So remember, this is supply chain and strategy, right? So under the supply chain and strategy, we have this first subtopic here. We talk about supply chains, the environment, and strategy. And you will see that there are modules, or we call it sections. And then you will see the minutes it takes you to complete each of these sections. And then you can see the quiz, flashcards, case study for each of that. Michelle, close my door. When you see me on computer here, don't talk to me. Can you shut the door, please? Okay, so quiz, flashcards, case study. So when you go to the next section here, or we call it sub module, they're talking about strategic scope and objectives. And then we can see that this also has quiz, flashcards, discussions, case study one. So all of these resources here will help you to really understand, and also to even get hands-on in terms of using your critical thinking to review some of the topics or some of the concepts that has been discussed. So you can see this one even has two case studies. And in the study groups, these are the things that we'll really focus on. We will leave this to you to go and review on your own, right? Based on our calendar, we will schedule it out, and then you would come to the. So basically, we have two type of activities in our study groups. The first category is the asynchronous. So asynchronous is that you are working on this system, you are going through this material. Okay, that's on your own. But the synchronous is when we now meet as a group during weekend, and then we now go over these quizzes, flashcard discussion, and case studies, because it will be more enriching that way, that it's not just you are left to your own devices, but we are in a group reviewing it together and using our experiences. And I think this is also very good for those who probably are not directly working in supply chain, but they were maybe supporting supply chain, because now you can work with a group of people who actually have hands-on experience, and this will really support your learning as a group. So this is what happens in the study groups. You can see that's an example of a case study there. So well, you will do that for all of these different topics here until um, will towards the end of the study group, you will also do these practice exams. So we will have the practice exam sometimes in the second to the last week. Okay, so you have one on Saturday, you have one on Sunday, and then we can come together in the last section to actually go over each of these questions in the practice exam, and then to further um, help your understanding as a group, to understand the tricks to the questions, the best practices in writing the exams, and that way will prepare you towards your last exam. I mean, towards your writing your exam. So one thing that I always encourage, that if you enroll for the CPIM, for example, you should be scheduling your exam already, because if you enroll, definitely you have paid for the exam and through the bundled packages. So all you have to do to make sure that you really stay on course then is to make sure you already scheduled your exam, because guess what? Like I always say, life happens, you know. And if you did not schedule the exam already, you will just see that other things will just crop up, and those are the things that will be grabbing at your limited time. And before you know, you just keep pushing and postponing and every other thing in between. But if you did schedule the exam already while you're doing your studying, what will happen is that your resources will be focused towards getting ready for that exam. That is the trick. If you don't schedule the exam already, it's possible you might not even write that exam in the next 2 3 years. That's just the reality. I've seen people who have experienced this, not just I'm making it up. So this is very, very important. So you could also see here you have information. These are videos that will help you towards preparing. These are some things you have to read up on your own, anyways. So that is the LMS, and as you are also going through the LMS, I think you will have like progress um, level that will be showing. You can see it's showing 0% here. So now as you go through each of those items, you will see that you will have a solid bar, showing you your progress level. Okay, so that's for the CPIM. The other one that we have here is the CLTD. I'm gonna try to go to that one. Okay, so this is the CLTD. So exactly the same structure. Okay, this is still showing CPIM. What's going on? Maybe I clicked on the wrong one. Give me a sec here. Let me look at what I'm doing here. Okay, okay. This is the CPIM. I mean CLTD. Okay, so this is the CLTD one. Exactly the same structure is what you have here. It's nothing different from what I've just shown you, but I just wanted to take a look at it. No, shut my door, please. Okay, so exactly the same thing. You can see there's a pre-test, and then there's the different topics here: logistics overview and strategy, logistic network design, sustainability and reverse logistics, capacity planning and demand management, order management, inventory, warehouse, transportation, global logistics. So these are all the different topics here. So just like you saw earlier, you will have the sections under each of those sub-module, and then you can see the time it takes to complete them. There's quiz, there's flashcards. So you will have that for each. So in this case, I believe that there are some that have case studies as well, but not everything here. So you can see case study and discussions here. Um, I think what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go to one of them. So let's go to these logistics fundamentals. Let's click on one of them. Yeah, I don't know where that thing always comes from. Okay, so you can see, am I on mute? Can you guys hear me? Oh, you were not hearing me before? Okay, so you can see the topics we have on the logistic history, definition, and scope. So you can click on the history of logistics, for example. Okay, let's look at the scope of logistics. So we can see here when we think about the scope of logistics, we talk about the inbound and the outbound logistics. So this is inbound, physical supply plus distribution, outbound materials management plus distribution. So this is explained in detail here. The physical supply is the movement and storage of goods from suppliers to manufacturing. Material management is supporting the complete cycle of material flow from the purchase and internal control, and then distribution is the outbound. The activity associated with the movement of material, usually finished goods or service, back from the manufacturers to the customers. So, and then they talk about all the different aspects of disciplines that are involved in logistics. So, and then they've broken it down here into inbound and outbound logistics. So that's it. Once this is done, check this inbox to indicate when you've got it. Okay, so if you haven't gotten it and you don't understand it fully, you can leave it so that you can always come back to it for future review, or maybe even refer it to your facilitator to provide further explanation. So that is how this works, and then you go through each one of them that way until you get to the end of these three topics, and then you can go and do the other stuff that under uh, the outline. So there's an outline, which is exam content outline for each of these certifications, which provides you information on the different areas where the exam questions are going to come from. So this will be one of those additional materials that you will get on enrolling for on the program. So that's it, guys. I think that marks the end of this session. Unless there are questions that we haven't answered there, I don't know. And then for those who are not in our group yet, I would like to share uh, I would like to share the WhatsApp group and the Supply Jobs platform. So you need to be on that Supply Jobs platform first before we'll bring you, because we want to know the people that are joining us. We are not just a regular type of WhatsApp. So we want to know those who are joining our group. You know, people will come with different names and we don't know really who they are. So we want you to join that first, because that's like a professional platform. And once we see you there and you let us know you're there already, then we can then accept your request to join our WhatsApp. So that's kind of the way it works. So Adela, I don't know if you see any questions there in the chat box. Okay, so we're all good then. So the thing we have to do here is that if you still have more questions, or you ask specific questions that relate to your own, career growth, job search, whatever it is, as long as it's related to career development, my 15 minutes phone call link is there. You can use that link to schedule a 15 minutes phone chat with me, and then we could go into specifics that relates to you, maybe that you don't want to share here online. Adela, if you don't mind, are you able to share the WhatsApp link and the supply jobs link as well? Uh, I don't want if I try to look for it on my screen here, then that will be what we're saying on the LinkedIn where we're streaming, right? As you have informed me the other time. So if you can help share those ones too. So I'm gonna leave this session going. If you have not shared your LinkedIn URL, please share it. The one of the main reasons why we're here is networking. So don't hesitate to share your URL, your LinkedIn URL. That way, you can connect with our colleagues on LinkedIn, and this will also help you to expand your network as well, if you know what I mean. Uh, we're not. One of the issues we have in Canada usually is this, social proof and not having people who can vouch for our experience. And when we have this type of a platform, it's an opportunity for us to leverage this network to expand your social proof, your social capital, and then that helps you to have access to some opportunities you might not have access to before. I know sometimes people feel, a little bit hesitant to share their LinkedIn URL, but I still don't understand how that works. But I will always encourage you to do that, because that's the whole point of networking and why we're here to connect with people, build rapport, build relationship that will help you along the journey. Some of the guys you will meet here on our network might not even you might not do anything with them until maybe 6 months, 6 years, 5 years. Last week, when we had the session, I think it was the SAP mock interview we had last week. Yeah, one of our facilitator met a colleague that they have worked together in the last 6 years, and they never had any contact. Okay, that is what we're talking about. So, and it happens that that contact also recently came into Canada, meaning this person already being here in Canada can provide them insights, can help show them the lay of the land, when it comes to SAP. So this is what it's really all about, guys. So don't hesitate. The guys that you connect with, also reach out to them. It's not just about connecting, it's about how do you learn more about their journey, how can you support their journey, because it is natural that they will also support your own journey if you reach out to help. So this is the fundamentals. Anyways, tomorrow we are having our procurement certificate again. For those of you who are looking to enroll for these certifications, don't hesitate to reach out. Go to supplychainschool.ca. You will find more information about even those ones that we haven't talked about. We have business analytics. Sometimes we're looking to also introduce SAP business analyst training. We have SAP trainings also coming up in August. We have the SAP Consulting, SAP FI, SAP Finance is coming up in August. What else? We also have the effective communication training. So this one that has to do with maybe pronunciation and also maybe public speaking. So through our partner, Gloria Pierre, are clearly speaking. What else do we have coming up? Yeah, so I mentioned earlier the third week of August, when we're going to have mock interview, is going to be for procurement professionals. So if you are actively job searching, that will be something to opt into. Anyways, that is all for today. I want to appreciate Adela for the support. It's always been a strong support here, and I really appreciate it. Our Industry Connect conference is coming up in November, and we're looking for volunteers. Okay, so there are different areas where you can volunteer, and I think I'm going to next week Saturday, which is the first Saturday of August. We're going to discuss more about the Industry Connect network. It's part of our networking strategy to help foster connections with the industry, the small businesses in Canada, and we're going to talk about the volunteering opportunities that are available. We really need everybody's hand on the deck to make this a successful event. We had a successful one last year, but this time around we also like to repeat that to even get the industry stakeholders more involved with what we do here on our platform, so that we can give you access to more opportunities. So that is me signing out here, but I'm going to leave the session on so that you guys can connect using the link thing URL that people put in there. You also could join on WhatsApp. The link has been provided there by Adela. Have a great weekend, guys, and see you next Saturday. Bye for now. You're welcome.